Hello, everybody. It is I, EvilsDeathAzul. If you're wondering, I'm sick, or I'm just getting over being sick. Yeah, it's not been fun. And if you're wondering why I had a similar stream about a month ago, I didn't realize a few technical things, and I needed some help with it. So, I asked a friend for help, and so we should have things figured out now. Um, But yeah, basically what this is going to be is this is going to be reviewing my Yakuza 0 walkthrough. Specifically, today's live is going to be focused specifically on all of just chapter 1. There's no sub stories in chapter 1. It's all sorry, I just cracked my knuckles. It is all just like from point A to point B. It's still pretty decently long. Like it's So one, two. It's gonna be covering 4 parts that are. So it's gonna be about an hour and a half to 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours of just reviewing. And we have our timestamps here. Kind of go over a few things if we want to look at that. They're also in the description of the video. But yeah, we're gonna kind of go over basically what was in my head when I started making this guide about 4 years ago. I don't have my chat up, do I? Give me a second. Docs. Chat. It would be very helpful. I would like to see my chat. There we go. Sign into chat. What? Hold on. What's going on here? Why can I not see my chat? Chat. Yeah. Sign into chat. Okay, I guess I'm gonna be focusing on my chat from. Do I not have a chat open? Why is there no? Oh, wait, yeah, I probably do. It's just not there. Anyway, yeah, I see the chat. But yeah, we're just gonna focus strictly on the first chapter of the game. So yeah, without further ado, I thought I couldn't see the chat. I just realized I was looking for the chat on the video, which is weird. So without further ado, let's get started with the intro video and title screen stuff. Oh yeah, that looks so much smoother. Hi, love. How you doing? So this music here is not originally in. Ooh, hold on. It's cutting some. It's cutting some of the screen off. Okay, so we're gonna have to do it this way then. So this video here is not. This music video here is not in the initial Yakuza 0 in the Japanese version. In fact, it's this is the international version. So the one that was on the PS3 in Japan is actually now used in the director's cut, which is honestly, in my opinion, a lot better than this. But yeah, this kind of give you a preview of everything that's happening so far, or that's going to happen. I'm not good with words, so bear with me, but I figured that some people would appreciate, like, just stuff like this. I can't put it in full screen mode because it would mess with the resolution, unfortunately, so you'll have to work with this. But yeah, you're gonna still get the full experience. I really love this music, even if it's not as good as the director's cut. So yeah, that's the intro music. We'll kind of fast forward through this a little bit. I'm kind of just giving the letting the title screen play a little bit. So I had already beaten this game prior to actually making the walkthrough. So in fact, you have to beat the game at least once on any of either easy, normal, or hard to unlock legend difficulty. Unless you're on PC, in which case I think you can play it on administrator mode. But yeah, so this is where it all begins. In December of 1988. In the middle of a back alley. And there's our protagonist, Kazuma Kiryu. So basically, Kiryu is here just working on a collection job. And yeah, he's beating the ever-living snot out of this poor man. I'm not going to try to talk too much during these cutscenes. So. But yeah. This is just young 20-year-old Kiryu. Okay, I'm going to mute myself while the cutscene plays.
この街で喧嘩すんならちゃんと相手を選べ。大金持ち歩いてるときは特にな。
So, just another day in 1988's Kamurocho, Tokyo. Fun little fact, Kamurocho is based off Kabukicho, which is a kind of red light district of Tokyo. Very, very, like, small, kind of clustered part of the city. Proper response. Sorry, I'm still getting over the cold. So is the sound coming out all right? I can see that you're here, love. Does it sound good to you? Awesome. So we did this right. So yeah, we're getting introduced to semi-important character. This is some random loan shark kid you did a job for. Apparently, loan sharks and the Yakuza tend to work together sometimes.
どう？終わりました。ちょっと封筒が。このままでいいですか？
Excuse me.
そんなこと気にしないでいい。むき出しだろうが金は金だからね。堂島組さんは仕事早くて助かるよ。
So yeah, that's kind of something that's kind of led on is that or something that's
ご苦労さん。
mentioned is that Kiryu is part of
どうも。
probably the largest family of the Tojo
Kore wa
clan,
ore
which is
kara
called the
no kimochi?
Dojima family.
いや、それは。
Or the Dojima family.
鳥藩
And,
が常識のこのご時
they
世
are
安い
ruthless.
取り分でやってもらってんだ。普通なら本職の人にこんな安い額の取り立て頼めないからね。
でも、
同年代のガキどもが
Hi,
万
Cappy.
札ちらつかせてタクシー乗る時代に本職の君が
How you
金が
doing?
ないんじゃ様になんねえだろ。まあこれは俺との初仕事を終えたご祝儀みたいなもんだ。はっ、とっとき。
ありがとうございます。
Understandable. We're just kind of going over the
しかしバカに
what was going in my head when I was actually making this guide. Unfortunately, due to resolution issues, I can't run this in full screen. So
ええ、まあ、
that's unfortunately the problematic
俺も
thing.
長いことこの町で金貸しやってるからよくわかる。今の世の中、金の本当の価値が分かってるやつなんてほとんどいやしない。その点、学のない君の方が高学歴の若造よりよっぽど分かってる気がするんだけど、そうじゃない？
So
俺にはわかりません。
if you notice that a lot of people are like spending lots of money in this game, a lot of NPCs. Ow, I just punched my table.
うちに来ねえか？兄ちゃん。君の腕っぷしならヤクザやるよりもっと簡単にもっと多くの金が稼げる。
Technically, Kiryu doesn't kill people. Though the reality is he doesn't kill people unless he absolutely has to. That's kind of a mistranslation. I think they actually reference it in Yakuza 5 as well, where he's like, "Who said I never killed people?"
ヤクザは下積みが長え。手っ取り早くのし上がりはうちに来て稼ぐってのもいい選択だと思うんだが。
3年前にその言葉を聞いてればそうしたかもしれません。けど、
Those are all three really decent games. I just pre-ordered Yakuza Kiwami 3 with Dark Ties. Ended up grabbing the deluxe edition.
ヤクザに
So
は
I'm looking forward to playing that when that drops. But I got another like month and a half for that.
さあな。俺はヤクザになったことねえからわからねえ。ま、気が変わったらいつでも
Basically,
連絡
Loan
してくれ
Shark is just offering
じゃあ
Kiryu a job, and Kiryu's like, 3 years ago you could have asked me, and maybe I would have taken it.
金貸しが偉そうに。
But as you can tell, Kiryu doesn't particularly like him. And yeah, so welcome to 1988 Kamurocho. Something to keep in mind is that this is during the boom of the real estate bubble in Japan. Unfortunately, when you spend money and when you spend so much money on real estate until like all the real estate runs out, your bubble bursts. So not long after this, like I think it was like 3 or 4 years, so like the early 90s, the bubble burst, the stock market crashed, and the government decided raising interest was a better idea to get like make up for that, and it ended up screwing the country over a lot. That's one of, I mean, the yen was not particularly worth a lot back then, but like this absolutely crashed the yen's value. I love this game's music sometimes. I don't know, there's also just something about this intro, the way that Kiryu is just walking down the streets of Kamurocho and then just stops at the southern gate. This just dynamic, like, zoom out just is amazing, right? So, here we are in Chapter 1, Bound by Oath. And so this is basically your tutorial chapter with Kiryu. So yeah, he and his Kyodai, I think it is. Yeah, Kyodai is what they call each other. They're basically blood brother, or they're basically like oath brothers, not blood brothers, oath brothers. And he's trying to meet up with them. So you gotta go and find Nishikiyama. And so yeah, this was in my early parts of making this guide. I started recording the trophies. About halfway through, I kind of stopped doing that. One, because I lost a file to this game because one or two PS5s died on me, unfortunately. And I went, okay, it's just more trouble to do this. I'm just gonna record, like, complete the walkthrough and then record the actual trophies. Where'd they get the inspiration for Frieza? Oh, look at that! Some color gang boys. Running the shakedown. Oh, Toriyama got the inspiration for Frieza. Oh, yeah. That does make sense. That Loan Sharks would be, like, Frieza would be based off Loan Sharks, because he did sell planets to the highest bidder if they couldn't pay. That does make sense. Brother, you are really, really stupid for thinking that you can't, like, picking a fight with a Yakuza is a good idea. Excuse me. Toriyama, may he rest in peace. So this is kind of your introduction to your brawler style of fighting. It's basic. It's not particularly fast. It's not particularly slow. You can get a few people with it, but the heavy attacks feel very sluggish in my opinion. But it's kind of the early inspiration for what ends up being Kiryu's later style in later games, called the Dragon of Dojima style. Now, obviously, what you can do is you can press square or X, depending on what version you're playing, to do the rush combo. I think it's X. And then press triangle to do a finisher. Depending on how many rush hits you use, you can do a different type of finisher with it. And if you press circle or B, whatever's the right button on your action button on your controller, you can grab someone and then you can either punch, do a light punch, heavy punch, or just do a flat out throw. It's very satisfying in my opinion. And then after you do the tutorial, just beat the snot out of them. They deserve it. Oh yes, so Kiryu's brawler style has this unique ability called Resolute Counter. When you get hit and you hold either square, triangle, or circle, you'll counter. I don't really use it very often. It can be useful for helping, like, get a little bit of damage out there, but it's not that useful in my opinion. Ooh. It's very satisfying hitting an enemy against the wall. But, like, even then, you still feel every hit, so. But yeah, they're not particularly difficult, even on Legend. It's gonna get much harder. And here we go, we have our good old Kyodai Nishikiyama. Akira Nishikiyama of the Dojima family.
逆だ。おめえがなかなか来ねえからこうやって時間潰してたんじゃねえか。暇潰しに喧嘩って。おとなしくヘルスにでも行けってろ。ガキじゃあるめえし。興味ねえ。相変わらず硬いね。まあいいや。とりあえず飲みに行こうぜ。 久々にオールで付き合えよ。な。
Long night of drinking sounds fun.
ありがとうございました。
は？
いや、
I don't think this guy quite understands that, like, the Yakuza would also absolutely shake him down, and the only reason they saved him in the first place was for the fact that he was getting shaken down by other people in their turf. So, like, this poor dude doesn't quite seem doesn't seem to quite understand. But yeah, you can see that Kiryu and Nishiyama are very much two different sides of the Yakuza, where Kiryu is very... He doesn't like wearing flashy clothes. He kind of just likes getting stuff done. Nishiyama likes being the fashionable one. He dresses up fancy, has fancy cars. He even has a fancy lighter that Kiryu uses.
何言ってんだ。こんなバカみたいな時代だぜ。楽しまなきゃ損だろう。少し頭使えや。風間のおやつさんが無所から出てくるのは年明けてからだ。それまでに俺も少しは気を。
I think Majima uses more crocodile skin style clothing than leopard print, but yeah.
お前もたまには50万のスーツでも着てみろよ。
That is true.
そうすりゃ世の中の見え方もちった変わる。俺は服なんかどうでもいい。風間のおやつさんだっていつも地味な服着てんだろ。お前な、あの人は組の若頭。堂島組のナンバ
But
ー
he's
2
kind
だ
of
ぞ。
pointing out that the reason why the young bloods usually are more fashionable
見えが必要なんだよ。
is because like the higher ups in the Yakuza are very they're not necessarily charismatic. That's kind of something for the kind of low ranking ones that to get attention
お前も本当は分かって
with
ん
the
だろ。
higher ranking ones.
人は車のエンブレムと着ている服のブランド、そしてこの堂島組の大門を見て素直に言うことを聞く。ヤクザは見え張ってなんぼだぜ。そんなもんさ。仇の癖してアコギな商売するやつに借りた金で遊びまくるバカ。この町の連中に人の内面なんて見抜けやしねえ。奴らにとっちゃ外見が全て。わかった、もういい。それより飲みに行くんじゃなかったのか。
Another fun fact, Nishiyama's Japanese voice actor, I don't remember his name, he ends up also eventually becoming Ichiban Kasuga's voice actor. And they ended up doing the same thing for the director's cut of Yakuza 0, and I'm assuming for a director's cut of Kiwami that they're planning. Because Kaiji Tang is also Nishiyama now, as well as obviously being Ichiban Kasuga.
おめえ、この辺りの店、ちゃんと出入りしてるか?
I haven't watched Dragon Ball Z in a long time, I'm not gonna lie. I know who Bibidi and Babidi are. And Majin Buu. Oh yeah, I see it now. But yeah, it's been a while since I've watched Dragon Ball Z or any Dragon Ball stuff in the first place.
この町でしのぐってのはそういうことさ。可愛い女子大生がよりどりみどりと言われ。
So yeah, if you wait around and kind of walk with Nishiyama, you kind of get some kind of Nishiyama Kiryu conversations.
今のは物の例えであって、別に俺が実際に体験したってわけじゃ。
Certainly Nishiyama. It's not from experience.
おめえもたまには楽しめ。いいな。
Yeah. So we're gonna get close to starting up. So once we're done walking, we're gonna end up getting into a kind of another tutorial fight, and it will be our tutorial fight for the kind of main action sequence of the, like, action attacks kind of thing, which is the heat actions. Everybody loves them. And there are a lot of them. And it starts out with two drunk guys fighting, which is usually how most fights start. It was your basic fighting, and rush, heavy, and grab attack stuff. It was meant specifically for the brawler style, which is the default style. You'll get 2 more styles naturally throughout the story, and when you do the business aspect of the game, which each character has one, you'll unlock what's called their legend style, which is kind of a basic form of their styles for later on in the game. Or later games in the series. So something I want to point out is when I am reading or showing the text in this, I count about 2 seconds after it finishes. That way, it gives people enough time to actually read the actual captions or the actual dialogue. Because something I've noticed with some guide makers is that they don't always give enough time, and that's kind of an important thing for me, especially for games that have a ton of lore like this or Kingdom Hearts. So yeah, it's something that's very important to me. So yeah, Kiryu, the best way of sobering men up, just punch them. It's the Kiryu solution. So this is going to introduce the heat gauge, which is the 3 bars under the health bar. There's a first bar, a second bar, and a third bar. The first bar, when it's empty, you just fill it up. You go to your second, third, and then fill up the third one for your third. And you can grab items and use heat action like this. This is the essence of eye salting. And notice how I have something called CL2 heat action shared essence of eye salting. That is for the completion metric, specifically the second completion list, which is your completed item list. This is the essence of obliteration. You can do this with, I believe, a crate or a wheel, and you kind of have to button mash for that one. And you have to be a certain you have to be really close to them for that to work. This next one is the essence of bowling. Obviously, easy enough. Use a bowling ball, and also you get these. I'm gonna pause for a second, kind of show this. These are what I call CL1, which is completion list 1, which are your kind of goals for the game. They're different from the completed items list, which are like just show all the heat actions, all the mini games, all the say eating all the food, showing what those individual items are. This is for just getting specific tasks done, like in this case, defeating 5 enemies in brawler style. There are a lot of them in the game, and you will, throughout this, see me get every single one of them. They're also marked here in the timestamp section. And if you don't see a timestamp in a video, you will absolutely find them here in the comment section. So, something to keep in mind. But yeah, so I'm kind of just showing off a few basic heat actions. It's like this one, where this one is... What is that one? Essence of finishing front. Which requires you to go up to an enemy that's face up and press the heat action button. And it has to be done in brawler style, I believe. It can be done in another style as well. It's a Kiryu exclusive one. But yeah, Kiryu's Delicate Touch fixes everything. And this was all over idols. The idol industry is vicious even among its fans. Sorry, I almost sneezed. It's nice that once they sobered up, the young guy's like, I'm just gonna I'll help you get home, good sir. So yeah, this talks about the completion list, specifically the one that I call CL1. It's certain challenges. They'll earn you completion points. And those completion points you can use to get yourself bonuses later on at the shrines, which you will probably see late. I don't know if I got any in the chapter 1, but you will absolutely see me later on grab them. But you can like sprint for longer periods of time, or Kiryu will be able to eat food without being while at full health, for example, like eat restaurant food. And here we go, we get another tutorial. This time not a fighting tutorial, but instead a tutorial on skills. This is Bacchus. He's called Aging Foreigner, but later on he reveals his name to be Bacchus. He is a homeless man, American, and he very much seems to understand how fighting works, just by watching Kiryu fight, or like it more so like he sees the potential because he understands fighting. Ow, my leg. Sorry, I got a bad leg, so if you hear me like shift, that's just why. But Bacchus is by far one of my favorite characters in this game. So, unlike most RPG games where you kind of get skill points to level yourself up, Yakuza 0 kind of has a different way of doing that. In this case, it's about spending money on your skills instead. I'm trying to figure out whether or not I'm just injecting money into my veins and I'm just suddenly learning skills, but, you know, to each their own. Maybe that's how I assume how quickly Kiryu's just learning how to fight with this. And don't worry, you will be getting money out the wazoo while playing this game. It is so easy to make money. So yeah, this first skill you can unlock. This is the only time a skill is going to cost 30,000 yen. Phoenix Spirit. Heat gauge will slowly rise over time when you're wounded. However, it will only fill up to the second bar. It's an okay skill. Not something I usually rely on. But, like, if you're going for a glass cannon build, this is kind of something you would want to... You could use. But yeah, again, injecting money into my veins and suddenly I can just build up heat if I'm, like, at low health. By the end of this game, by the way, we will have unlocked or, like, bought every skill on the skill trees. And there's technically 4 skill trees, but only 3 of them actually give you new skills. The 4th one for the legend styles will only just be, like, boosting stats instead.
行くぞ。
So yeah, now that that's done, we just take a walk with Nishikiyama. I'm gonna speed this up a little bit because I don't think there's any more dialogue. Excuse me. Yep, here we go, cutscene. Yeah. Just a drunk man asleep on the street. Don't mind him. Drunk man throwing up in a gutter. That's fine.
たく相変わらず品のねえ街だよな。
I can't imagine it being cheap
だ
living
から
here.
人が集まってくるんじゃねえのか。最近の景気で金持った欲の塊みてえな連中がな。そいつらが酒やら女やら欲しがって集まる場所なんだ。この彼女って街は。なんだ。不器用なりに一応分かってんじゃねえ。見直したか。
錦山くん。
Nishikiyama-kun!
よう。なんだあいつら。現役女子大生ホステスのまどかちゃんとゆいちゃんだ。あ？
ねえ、ポケベル鳴らしてるんだから電話してよ。今度いつお店来てくれるの？
今日後で顔出すよ。
本当に？
なんだよ。俺の言うこと疑ってる？
信じたいけどな。
そんなこと
That
言うな
look
よ。
she gives him of,
ほら、
sure.
お小遣いだ。
やったー！信じてるよ。
女ってのは器用なもんだね。
ありがとう。じゃあまた後でね。待ってるよ、錦山くん。
いつの間にか大した顔じゃねえか、錦。お前さ、俺があの女たちにまんまと小遣いせびられたと思ったろ。
If there is something Nishikiyama is, he
女
is
とつながって
very
おくことが大事なんだ。
smart when it comes
いい
to
か、組の上にいる兄貴たち
social
は
etiquette.
基本的に女にモテない。あの人たちは見るからにヤクザでございますって格好してるからな。
And
それがなんだ。
that's kind of why he does all the things that he does, why he wears flashy
兄貴たちと飲む
clothes,
ときいろんな
that
女
kind of stuff.
連れてくと
He's very,
それ
very,
だけで
he's
小
much
遣い
more
くれるし
intelligent than he lets on.
俺の国での覚えもめでたくない。どうせここ
It's
で
all good, sweetie. If you're not feeling good, you're not feeling good, rest well.
違うか。なるほど。そうかもしんねえな。さあ、店はここだ。今夜はとことん付き合ってもらうからな。
So the first place he takes us is a karaoke bar. Excuse me.
お前、この店にはよく来んのか？ん？これで2度目だけど。なんでだ？ボトルキープなんかしてるからよ。常連なのかと思ってな。
So a lot of these alcohols, by the way, are actually real. I actually have a bottle of Suntory whiskey
俺は安く見られ
sitting
る
in my
のはごめ
cabinet.
んなんだな。
So,
なる
and
ほ
I
ど。
learned it's
お前
really
は偉い
good.
よ。確かに見えってのを大
I'm
事に
not a
して
whiskey fan, but like I
お
really,
めえも
really,
この世
really
界で
do
の
like
し上がりたきゃ
Suntory
少し
whiskey.
は見習えよ。つってもおめえはそういうタイプじゃねえってことか。俺はおやっさんの背中を追いかけてこの世界に
So
入
they're
った
kind of kid just kind of reminiscing
孤
about
児だっ
like
た俺
entering the
が拾って
Yakuza
くれたあの人のために
with Nishikiyama.
てめえの体張るくらいしか脳がねえ。いや、もしかしたらおめえは今のままでいいのかもな。ん？おめえが下で頑張って風間のおやっさんが出世すりゃおめえにも出世の芽が出てくるかもしれない。そういうのし上がり方もあるさ。ただ おめえは風間のおやっさんの子じゃない。堂島組の組員なんだ。おやっさん、なんで俺らのこと風間組に入れてくれなかったんだろうな。そりゃ堂島組の方が格は上だけどさ。
よせよ。おやっさんに考えがあってのことだ。
まあ、そうだな。
Again, I'm not trying not to talk through all of this, so.
よし、真面目な話はもうやめだ。カラオケでもしてパーッと騒ごうぜ。なあ。
わかった。今日はとことん付き合うぜ。
So we are being introduced already to the best minigame in this game. Or in the series, actually. It's karaoke. It's basically a rhythm game. Press the right buttons at the right time. When it comes to... So there's two types of karaoke. There's singing karaoke, and then there's the interjection karaoke. And in this case, you're doing singing. I do Bakumitai. We will cover Judgment Shimpan later. I just like Bakumitai better. Mainly because it's for the memes. So the trick with doing singing is that you, for the most part, 90% of the time, there are times it's not completely this way. You do it to the pace of the lyrics. So Bakumitai, it's at that pace. It's this particular song is not hard. But I'm not perfect at this. I'm not aiming for getting the highest rating, which is Karaoke Dragon. I have gotten it for one song during this walkthrough. But for the Xbox versions of this game, I noticed that I struggled more. I think there's a glitch where there's a slight delay. And I don't know why, but it's there. I love this song. Such a meme song. It's such a depressing song too. If you actually look up the actual lyrics to it. It's the most meme song. It's depressing as hell. Excuse me. But yeah, so there is a completion. So there is a completion list and completion item thing for this, which is to get 90 plus on every song in the game. In this case, I got it for Bakumitai. You cannot get a higher score than 90 when you're doing interjections if you do simple interjections. You need, if you want to get it and you know you're going to make mistakes, you need to do lively. I cannot stress that enough. Also, this scene changes depending on if you do well or not. So like in this, he's like teasing Kitty, like, wow, you must do this like when you're not punching people. And I do show the alternate scene.
それにしても思いっきり歌ったら腹減ったな。締めにラーメンでも言っとくか。
まだ食うつもりか？俺はそんなに腹減ってねえよ。
まあいいじゃねえか。付き合えよ。天国圏でどうだ？
天国圏。
しょうがねえな。わかったよ。
Yes, you also get a counter for some of the stuff, like entertain yourself one at a time. This is the alternate scene. This is if you fail. I kind of like this better because Kiryu just kind of drinks and goes, "Why did I do this?"
なあ、キリュウ。おめえ、音痴だったんだな。
He's like, what's it like having zero sense of rhythm?
そき落とすなって。何事も練習だ。そのうちきっと上手くなるって。
だといいがな。
Ooh, sounds fun.
行くぞ。
Alright, now we're back at the actual, like, walkthrough. So yeah. Follow Nishikiyama, you're gonna get a little more dialogue.
おめえいい声してるよな。曲のチョイスは渋いけ
ど。悪かったな。流行りの曲はよく知らねえんだ。
なら少しは勉強しろって。流行りに遅れた男はモテないからな。
そうか。
つっても男のアイドルなんかは。
Oh, I just got pressure out of my ear. I've been dealing with like sinus issues from this cold.
それ、周りにバレてんじゃねえのか？
かもな。
Yeah, next thing you do, you follow Nishikiyama to Tengokuken, which we will see later on as well, because there is a goal later on in the game, or later on to 100% the game, where you have to eat every food from every restaurant in the game. As long, like, some restaurants have some restaurants, there are some of the same restaurants in different places, but for the most part, every restaurant is different except for a select few. I just realized Nishiyama never went to that club, that hostess club that he promised.
おい、なんだよ。全然食ってねえじゃんか。
だからもう食えねえって言ったろ。大盛りなんか頼みやがって。
情けねえこと言うなよ。それでも男が。
昨夜11時頃、カムロ町の一角で発見された若い男性の変死体は激しい暴行を受けており、警視庁では殺人事件とみて付近を捜査中です。ただいま続報が入りました。若い男性の身元が判明したとのことです。死体で発見された男性は都内在住の会社員栗原太一さん32歳。警視庁の調べでは栗原さんは金融業者数社から
Isn't that the guy that Kiryu beat the snot out of at the beginning of the game?
関係者から事情を聞く方針です。
Oh no!
キリュウ。カムロ町で殺したと。
よくある話だろうが。
いや、お前、夕べの取り立て、相手のこと結構痛めつけたって言ってたよな。
こちらが栗原さんの死体が発見された現場です。
ここって。俺が
Honestly,
取り
found
立て
these
した場所。
mouthless cutscenes really weird.
お前、マジか。
I guess they were running out of time at the like certain points in the game,
死ぬまで殴ったわけじゃ
so
ねえ。
they decided to record the dialogue, but
この場所は
kind of do this with
ネオン街から
certain parts of the game. But it's not often that they do this with for me to consider that it was a planned
か
thing.
なりいびつな空間と
I
い
don't
う
know.
印象を受け
I'm
ます
weird
が
like that.
栗原さんの死体はこのわずかに残る更地に倒れていたとのことです。
こいつ。俺が取り立てたやつだ。
お前、本当に間違いねえのか。
はあ、
何やってんだよ。取り立てで相手殺しちまうなんてよ。
Yeah, Kiryu is definitely in trouble.
組か。
ああ、早速呼び出した。
So first thing you gotta do, gotta go and find a phone booth.
事務所に電話してくれ。
やっぱり今のニュースの件で呼び出されてんだよな。お前、まずいことになったな。いや、お前ももちろんやべえけど、これで風間のおやっさんの立場も危うくなる。
何？
この不始末につけ込まれちまうってことだ。
どういう意味だ？
お前や俺がおやっさんに拾われたってことは 堂島組の人間なら誰でも知ってる。だからよ、俺らの不始末はおやっさんの責任にもなっちまう。
だが俺がやっちまったことだ。おやっさんは関係ねえ。
そうはいかねえよ。殺しとなるとことがでかい。多分おやっさんの後釜に座ろうって連中は間違いなくそこをついてくる。堂島組若頭補佐の3人とかな。くそ。そもそも半年前、おやっさんがサツにパクられたのもその3人の誰かに売られたって噂だ。
なんだそれは。
おやっさんの仕切ってた賭場、周到に場所変えてたのにいきなり摘発食らったろ。ありゃ組の事情に詳しいもんがサツにチクったとしか思えねえ。でそれが誰かっていや、3人の若頭補佐の1人、クゼの兄貴だったって噂だ。
クゼの兄貴がおやっさんをサツに売ったってことか。
もちろん証拠があるわけじゃない。でもよ、その件でおやっさんが無所に行ってからクゼはえらい勢いついてる。火のないとこになんとやらだ。
何しろ今は組に連絡するしかねえ。だろう。
そうか。
Hey, sorry, I had to sign into my chat on OBS.
わかった。俺はとりあえず知恵貸してくれる人を
I'm
探してみ
still
る。
here.
すまね
Excuse me. So yeah, at this point we're kind of getting to the tail end of this first video. Yep. And this is just like the first quarter of the chapter. So yeah, first thing we gotta do, next thing we gotta do, find a payphone. At this point, I kind of just was looking at the pager stuff, because you do get some messages, but like not very many, and they're all mostly story-based, except for a select few times. So yeah, call to the family, and this will continue story. Also, phone booths in this game will save your progress, which is very important, because on Legend, there is no checkpoint system. You absolutely have to,
桐生だ。そっちで誰か
if you
俺のポケベル鳴らしたか。
like die, you have to start from your last save point. There is no starting from your last checkpoint, which is unfortunate, but kind of how that works.
そうか。わかった。
And yeah, that's this part. Oh yeah, this is when I was helping out on Crow's Graveyard. He's awesome, dude. If you ever get the chance, go check him out. He's very good at the guides he makes. Makes a lot of Legend of Zelda stuff. Go check him out if you get the chance. Make sure this is at 1080. So at this point, I didn't realize that there was stuff going on with my quality. That's much later in the game. Or much later in the walkthrough, where I do end up fixing it. But yeah, it's going to be pixely for a little bit. This was like one of my first walkthroughs. So first thing we got to do, we are going to the Dojima family headquarters. And you better hope you have the money for it. And if you've spent all your money, I'm going to be very surprised. So yeah, welcome to the Dojima headquarters. Not to be mistaken for the Tojo clan headquarters. That is a different place. This is the Dojima household, basically. And here we are, introduced to the lieutenants of Dojima.
ずいぶん待たしてくれるじゃねえか。 ったもんだな。おう、キリ。
This first one being Daisaku Kuze. He's kind of the
申し訳ありません。
brawn.
風の兄貴。
こんな昼間から東島組の幹部がガン首揃えてお前を呼び出した理由わかるよな。
This is KG Shibusawa. He's kind of the brains of the lieutenants.
カムロ町で見つかった死体の件ですが。
やっぱりてめえか。こりゃゴルどころじゃなくなっちまったな。なあ、クゼの兄貴。
And we got Hiroki Awano, who is kind of the intimidation and extortion expert.
組に連絡があってな。
金貸し。
東郷クレジットの社長だ。あの社長に頼まれて仇ぶっ殺したのはおめえだろ。もっともあいつは自分のせいじゃねえって。
Sorry.
早速逃げ打ってやがった。
Didn't mean to do that.
たかが30万程度。
Back that up a little bit. I accidentally hit a button on OBS.
もっともあいつは自分のせいじゃねえって早速逃げ打ってやがったかな。たかが30万。
Ignore that. That didn't happen. You saw nothing.
本性が下手打つとも思っていなかっただろうからな。ちんけな金貸しとはいえ同情するぜ。まあそんなことはどうでもいい。理由がどうあれ仇をやっちまったっつうことはどう幕を引くかだが。
ちょっと待ってください。俺は
ジタバタすんじゃねえ。安心しろ。
So yeah, he's in a lot of trouble because they're giving the assumption that Kiryu actually did off a civilian during a collections job, because you can't, as most people know in the criminal underworld, you can't collect off a dead man. And yes, I did quote Franklin from GTA 5. It's not the fact that he committed, or that they think that he quote-unquote committed murder, it's the location kind of thing.
どういう意味ですか。
とぼけんじゃねえよ。おめえが死体を捨てていった場所だ。おいゲリュ、おめえよりによってなんであの場所でやったんだ。え？まさか風間の頭の指示ってわけじゃねえよな。
おやっさんの指示ってなんでおやっさんの名前が出てくるんすか。
聞かれたことだけに答えろ。なんであの場所を選んだ。頭の指示じゃねえのか。あ？それにチャカはどこで手に入れた。
Ah, yes, the piece.
それも頭から渡されたのか。
チャカ、一体何の話をしてるんですか。俺は銃なんか持ってません。
この後に及んで白を切りつもりってか。見つかった下は痛めつけられた後、とどめに頭を撃たれていた。殺はまだ公表してねえかな。
本当ですか、その話。だったら死体転がしたのは俺じゃありません。俺は素手で奴を殴っただけです。本当です。
もしその話が本当だとしたら、お前は誰かにはめられたってことになる。そうだな。
はい。間違っても俺は銃を撃ったりはしていません。
と言ってるが、どうしますか。嘘に決まってんだろ。たくわらぎしやがって。てめえみたいな下っ端はめて誰が得するってんだ。おうキリ、もう一度聞くぞ。なんでわざわざあの場所で。
Honestly, framing a nobody actually seems the more logical
あの場所に相手
way of handling things, in my opinion. But you know,
少し痛い目に合わせてから金を取り立ててくれって。
今言ったこと間違いねえな。
ええ。
どうやら 金貸しから話聞く必要がありそうだな。とはいえ、うちの組があの殺しに関係していたっていうのは事実だ。しかも場所が場所だ。このままじゃあっちの仕事に支障が出ちまう。どうするよ、クゼナ兄貴。答えは一つだろう。何が何だかわかんねえって面だな。
え
例の死体が見つかったあの場所はな、あそこは通称空の一坪って厄介な土地なんだよ。お前ら下っ端は知らねえかもしれねえけどな、堂島組長から俺ら頭補佐の3人に命令が出てたんだ。どんな手使ってもその空の一坪を手に入れろとな。
殻の一坪。
針の穴ほどの隙間もない繁華街に偶然できた一坪の空き地だ。それを親父が欲しがってる。親が欲しがるものを差し出す、それが子分の義務ってわけだ。だがその場所で堅気の死体が見つかった。あの土地が世間の目を引いちゃ地上げしようにも手出しが難しくなっちまう。ほんと困った話だ。
Excuse me.
ああ、
それがおやっさんとどんな関係が。
あの一坪にはな、別の意味もあってな。堂島の親父に差し出したやつにはとっておきの褒美が用意されてる。
褒美？
おう、不在の風間の頭の後、堂島組次期若頭のポストだ。つまりあの土地は俺ら頭補佐にとってただの一坪じゃねえってことだ。まあ最初はてっきり風間の頭とつながってるお前が俺らの邪魔するためにやったのかと思ってたが、その顔色じゃ何にも知りませんでしたって感じだな。
ちょっと待ってください。それじゃ風間のおやっさんはどうなるんです？
さあな。だが組の一大事に無所にいるようじゃ頭は務まんねえだろ。おまけにだ、ガキの頃から育ててきた可愛い子分が理由はどうあれ仇をぶち
Yeah,
殺
this
しまっ
seems
たとあっちゃ
very suspicious
きっちり
for a
傷
frame
つけねえ
frame
と
job.
おやっさんは関係ない。それで俺も殺しはやっていません。
そういうことはサツにつってもヤクザの言い分聞くほど連中も暇じゃねえだろうな。サツには今日中に実しろよ。それと縁故詰めときゃ、お前も極道なら組長に挨拶しとかねえと筋が通らねえぞ。
So kind of long story short, the guy that Kiryu roughed up was shot in the head. And they think Kiryu did it. biggest issue being that Kiryu doesn't carry a gun. So, Kiryu obviously didn't do it. Obviously, we saw at the beginning of the game Kiryu didn't do it, but obviously they don't believe him. It's not the fact that a civilian died. It's the fact the civilian died in an area in the game, or in an area in Kamurocho called the Empty Lot, which is this one area of real estate that no one has claimed. They can't get a hold of the current owner of it, so it's kind of up for grabs on who can secure that area. And now that there's a murder and the cops all over the Empty Lot now, no one's really going to be able to figure that out. So, and because Kazuma-san, Kiryu's father figure and the captain of the Dojima family, is in prison, Dojima has promised whoever gets the Empty Lot that they will get the captain's seat for the Dojima family. They want Kiryu to turn himself in because it being involved in the killing, whether he did it or not, has messed up their plans to get the Empty Lot. So yeah, not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. And Kuze is also suggesting that Kiryu remove his pinky, which is a kind of form of penance in the Yakuza. Very old school. I have a friend named Andrew who, or Higsby, guy who created Super Mario Omega. He knows a lot more about it than I do. He knows the proper name of that penance, but it's like usually like used for like if someone really screws up in the Yakuza. So yeah, very nasty stuff. But they want Kiryu to turn himself in to the cops at the end of the day. Yeah, it's looking like that loan shark who told him to go to the Empty Lot set him up.
Hey.
Oh, look, it's Bacchus. This is kind of where he reveals his name is Bacchus. If you hear stuff in the background, my roommate is also sick. Probably the worst sick of all of us. So. And we gave this to her. She's not particularly happy. So yeah, Bacchus has a favor to ask Kiryu, and he doesn't really give Kiryu the time to say no. Kind of volunteered him ahead of time. Good old Bacchus. I love this man. He's amazing. His name is Bruno. It's really funny. My friend Crow, he watched this video and just, even in the comment section, I'm gonna pause it for a second. He actually left a comment. He's like, still trying to wrap my head around a dude being called Bruno in Japan. Yeah. I really like this music. Bacchus is like, I'll happy to give you double this, like, 10 million yen loan that I owe you, but there's a catch. Sorry, I'm a little further away because I'm getting my robe on, because I am a little cold. This Kimoji guy.
Oi.
So this is one of the ways that... So this is one of the styles Kiryu learns. Which is a very effective style for mostly one-on-one combat. But it's also good for quick combat if you're slightly surrounded. It's good for also getting you out of sticky situations because of how good its dodging is. It's called rush style, and it's really, really useful for a couple things. So yeah.
No.
So yeah, so this is basically your rush tutorial. So rush is very fast. It's basically kind of the punch them until they're down really fast. Because if they take knockback, it's really hard to recover from it. So, I'm gonna sneeze. Give me a second. Yeah, I didn't sneeze. I had to just blow my nose. So, yeah, you can switch to using the left D-pad, and then pressing X rapidly, or repeatedly, and rapidly will do a string of quick steps instead of 1 or 2, like in Brawler. I believe you have iframes while you're doing quick steps. Another thing about Rush is you can absolutely stun enemies with it. As long as you keep punching, eventually they will get stunned. Another thing about Rush is that one of the heat actions you use for like knocking an enemy down, and then like attacking, like using a heat action while they're on the ground, it's the weapons heat action, like small weapons heat action for some reason. I don't know why, it just is. But yeah, for smaller enemies, you can absolutely just stun them. Like yeah, see how Bruno got stunned there? You saw the little thing over his head. So I am purposely avoiding using most heat actions in this game, because there's a point later on in the walkthrough where I just show off a majority of them. After that, I just kind of start using them more and more. But right now, I figured it would be safer to just not use heat actions at all. Just a kid, he's like, which Yakuza family are you from? They're like, oh, you're Yakuza. Oh, no. And yeah, they actually work for Toko Credit, the loan company that's owned by the guy who told Kiryu to beat the guy up in the empty lot. And they're gone. Yeah, this is where we learned that his name is Bacchus. Which I believe is the Roman god of wine and luxury. I have to double check that, but he's like the Roman version of Dionysus, whatever his name is, from the Greek mythology. But yeah, Bacchus is Roman. This... Nope. 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 Two different things, Bacchus. Two very, very different things. Some new S&M thing. So yeah, S&M is very, very, very big in Japan, especially in the red light districts. So yeah, if you want to learn more about Rush Style, you go to the Shichifuku parking lot, and you'll find Kimoji there. So yeah, Bacchus definitely like has some experience. You can tell from the way he talks. He definitely seems like a boxing instructor. So like he definitely knows a thing or two about fighting, or at least teaching people how to fight, not necessarily fighting himself. Alright, I'm back. I had to grab some apple juice to kind of help my throat. So yeah, you can find Kimoji later on in the parking lot in the northwest area of northeast area of Kamurocho, and he'll teach Kiryu the rush style, but you need a lot of money for it. So yeah, our next goal, go to the Toko Credit President's office on Taihei Boulevard. But because we are actually almost out of time for this video, I end up going and just saving my game. There's not much that really happens here outside of learning Rush. Why did I put this so early? Oh yeah, I know why, because I never, I forgot in my early videos that I never had the transition out, because I was using... So, fun little fact, little background fact about me. I was using my computer's Pictures app to edit this video before I discovered DaVinci Resolve. This was before I was working for Follower Toshi. So, yeah, that's why it looks so stiff, or it doesn't look so fancy in the editing. That happens much later in the guide. But yeah, anyway, so as you can see, we're on part 3. This will be Toko Credit, and yeah, that's kind of the thing about it. There's not much that gets done except for, let's see, one or two. Yeah, a couple of completion list bonuses and learning a couple things. So yeah, let's get to it. So something I will recommend, because money is so easy to get in this game, stock up on Stamina Royales. I know it seems like it's a little overboard, but the reason being that Stamina Royales not only are good for... Oh yeah, and you at this point you'll start getting into fights. Stamina Royales are really good for not just healing yourself, but also providing you extra heat. And while yes, you can also get that their toughnesses are for healing. I don't remember what ones are used for raising your heat, but I use just stamina because it's for both. And Royales are, while they're more expensive, they're like 12 grand each, and I've got like 512 grand on me. So you do the math, figure it out. But yeah, so there's a pharmacy over here. It's like in the center of the map, right across from Toko Credit, actually. Go there, buy, just fill your inventory up with medicine. So stamina Tauriners will give you heat as well. But I like to just have like Stamina Royales, especially if you know you're going to have the money on you. I will be making more money eventually anyway. Like again, it is not hard to make money off of this game. Or in this game. It's not hard to make money in this game. So this is kind of like a mini dungeon kind of thing. So there's no, once you're in here, there's no save points until you actually finish this area. So, yeah.
俺が来んのは宣告承知ってわけか。堂島組の桐生一馬だ。東国クレジットの社長に俺をはめた礼を言いに来た。
うちの社長はあんたに会う気はありません。桐生さん。
Excuse me.
じゃあお前ら半殺しにして会う気にさせて。
Toko Credit President's like,
この
yeah,
人数相手に
I'm not home.
あんた
Totally
一人
not
で
home.
か。
So yeah, we're gonna go beat the snot out of his men.
爆発しそうになってんだ。
To be fair, there's not a lot of guys here.
さっさと道上げねえがチンピラー。
So at this point, I believe I ended up getting the trophy for getting 5 attack or 5 bonuses after finishing off an enemy. But if you don't get it, basically you're gonna get it naturally. It's not hard. And yeah, I kind of switch back and forth. But for me, Rush is just the proper style for this. I do not like using Brawler very often. It's not a very useful style unless I'm doing heat actions. Honestly, like, yeah, Rush is my favorite style for this. So yeah, and you get a buttload of money off of them. Like, I made more than I lost buying the medicine.
信じられねえ。まさかここまでたどり着くかよ。
あとはあんただけだ社長。じっくり話を聞かせてもらう。
話？何の話だ？
今さらとぼけだって時間の無駄だ。なぜ俺をはめた？あんたの目的は何だ？
おい、近づくな。わかった。全部話す。だからちょっと待ってくれ。俺はあんたをはめる気なんてなかった。ただ人から頼まれた通りに動いただけだよ。
Something suspicious.
あんたにあの場所で
Is
取り
that
立てさせるように
Kitty,
って。
Toko Credit's president's basically saying,
その人は
like, he was told he had to, get Kitty to go and
クゼの
collect in the empty lot. Looks like Kuze
あんたが俺を
knew Kitty was gonna be here too.
ねえ、社長さん。ええ。キリュウ、お前何やってんだよ。あ？殺に実するように言ったはずだろう。寝ぼけたことやってんじゃねえぞ。ああ、やっぱちょっとなまってんな。現役の頃はガキのしつけなんざ一発で済んだんだがよ。社長さん、ちょっと外してもらえませんか。この若いのに説教しねえとなんねえもんでね。ごゆっくり。俺 お前とは一度腹割って話してと思ってたからよ。おめえと錦山孤児なんだってな。風間の頭がやってる施設の出なんだろう。確かひまわりとかいう養護施設だ。極道なんてまともに育ったやつの方が少ねえ。孤児だからって恥じる必要はねえぞ。ただな、風間の頭もえげつねえ真似をするよな。
どういう意味ですか？
拾ってきたガキに育てた恩着せてよ。今じゃ立派にあの人の玉よけになってるじゃねえか。おめえと錦山、頭のためなら命も惜しくねえってよ。こういうの洗脳っていうのか。
そろそろ本題に入ってもらえませんか、クゼの兄貴。あんたの話はさっぱり先が見えね
桐生、お前風間の頭をスパイしろ。
何？
殻の一粒の話はしたな。それさえ手にすりゃ俺が次の若頭、堂島組の跡目を。だがそのために必要なあの土地のある情報ってやつを檻の中の頭が握ってやがる。
ある情報？
ああ、お前そいつを頭から探り出せ。うまくやりゃ組手の将来を俺が約束してやる。あの人はまさかお前に裏切られるとは思ってねえからな。構成員25000の登場会、その直系堂島組でのし上がったとなるや大した出世だ。それに例の殺しの真犯人も渡して
やっぱりあんたが俺をはめたんだな。
さあな。ただこの話を蹴りゃおめえは確実に無所行きだ。俺につくか、もう先のねえ風間につくか、好きな方選べ。だが返事は今だ。この場でしろ。
クゼな兄貴。
なんだ。
あんた賢いつもりで立ち回ってるんだろうが、全然器じゃねえよ。
何？
俺のこともおやっさんのことも。あんたは何も分かっちゃいねえ。
ガキがこの俺を敵に回すのか？本当にその覚悟があんだろうな。
覚悟ならありますよ。それが
Yeah, basically, Kuze's trying to make Kiryu spy on him, or spy for him on Kazuma in prison, and Kiryu obviously going, yeah, I'm loyal to him, does not want anything to do with it. So Kuze's pretty frustrated about that. Yep, gotta find a payphone, and of course, get to a fight. So I'm kind of just mixing up. I'm kind of using my brawler style because I need fight. At some point, you need to have defeated 200 enemies per style, and I'm trying to knock brawler out right now, though. I won't focus on brawler when I do specific dungeons and specific bosses. So, but yeah, here's our Here's a phone booth. That's probably Nishikiyama calling from a different phone, or beep, like communicating with a different beeper, because he didn't want to worry about the Yakuza figuring out that it was him contacting Kiryu.
桐生だな。錦山。
ああ、やっぱりお前からの呼び出しだったんだな、錦。お前今どこにいる？
風間組の事務所だ。天下一通りの。
風間組？なんでお前そんなとこに？
今、柏木さんと会って話してる。なんかいい知恵貸してもらおうと思ってよ。なんせ柏木さんはあの風間のおやっさんの片腕だ。
なるほどな。
それよりお前の方はどうだったんだ。もう堂島組の事務所からはとっくに出てるんだろう。
ああ。だがいろいろあった。
いろいろ？
そいつは直接会ってから話す。
分かった。なら俺は柏木さんと風間組で待ってるからすぐ来てくれ。実はな、お前も柏木さんの話を聞いといた方が良さそうなんだ。お前、殻の一つとって聞いたことあるか？
久世の兄貴からさっき聞かされたばかりだ。どうやら柏木さんは何もかもお見通しらしいな。俺もすぐそっちに向かう。
Sorry, I'm just answering something.
おい、待てよ。
イライラしてんだよ。
何なんだよ。
Okay, it wasn't streaming while I was off screen. Okay, let me fix that. I didn't realize that would do something.
久世の兄貴からさっき聞かされたばかりだ。どうやら柏木さんは何もかもお見通しらしいな。俺もさんは久世の兄貴。
お前も柏木さんの話、木さんと風間。
直接会っ
Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that.
いろいろ？
I apparently went to Discord, but when I went to Discord, it like froze the screen.
なら俺は柏木さんと風
It
間
does
組で待
that.
ってるからすぐ
I
来て
don't
くれ。
know why.
実はな、お前も柏木さんの話を聞いといた方が良さそうなんだ。お前、殻の一つ
Sorry about
とって
that.
聞いたことあるか？
久世の兄貴から
Discord
さ
on
っ
my
き聞
phone
かさ
from
れた
now
ばか
on.
りだ。どうやら柏木さんは何もかもお見通しらしいな。俺もすぐそっちに向かう。
That's it. We're gonna go to the Kazuma family office.
おい、待てよ。
And get into a fight with some Yakuza. So Yakuza, you can tell they'll have like some. They're more like they wear colorful suits, and they have a decent amount of money on them when you fight them. But they're also a little bit stronger than most enemies. Just be careful with them because they do have a tendency of getting a couple of hits off on you. I'm gonna move this closer to me just because I don't want to keep leaning in because my back's killing me. Yeah, so at this point I kind of just buy a few things. So at the start for Kiryu, most of the first layer stuff will be 400,000 each. So I get boost health, small, and flying kick. Flying kick is pretty good for like a fast hit in Brawler, but you do have a bit of recovery to pick yourself back up. But, you know, it's good to have the skill. And here we're introduced to one of my personal favorite characters, Kashiwagi. He's kind of like he's the captain of the Kazama family, and he is a pretty decent guy, actually. Very, very like kind of like a teacher for Nishikiyama and Kiryu.
よく無事だったな。お前が本家から呼び出されたってとこまでは錦山から聞いてる。
Osamu Kashiwagi, captain of the Kazama family, a Dojima family subsidiary.
そっから先何があったか大方予想がつく。クゼのおじきあたりが風間を裏切れとでも言ってきたんじゃねえか。
ええ、そうです。
どういうことなんです？殻の一坪で桐生が死なせたって死体は銃で殺されていた。もちろんこいつがそんなことするわけがねえ。つまり誰かにはめられたんだ。
それもっと早く言ってくださいよ。俺はもう本当に兄弟が人殺しになっちまったのかと。
錦、
面倒なことになったな桐生。とにかくクゼと何があったか全部話せ。なるほど。つまり若頭補佐の三人衆が頭の座を争っているってわけだ。風間の親父がいないのをいいことにな。
冗談じゃねえ。親さん以外に堂島の頭が務まるかよ。
落ち着け錦山。それよりクゼの話に出た殻の一坪だ。お前らが知ってるのはほんの触りだけだな。
ええ、柏木さんは詳しくご存知なんすか？
ああ、まず今カムロ町のある一帯に大規模な再開発計画があって、堂島組の例の若頭補佐3人が食い争うように地上げをしてる。
それなら聞いてます。権利者バラバラの土地に根こそぎ買い漁ってるって。そいつをまとめ上げてでかく転売する腹でしょ。
そうだ。だがその中にどうやっても手に入れられねえたった一坪ばかりの更地があんだ。
それが殻の一坪。
ああ、そいつは最近になって一帯の地上げが8割方終わろうって時に見つかった土地でな。厄介なもんで再開発用地のど真ん中にある。そこが手に入らん限りいくら周りの土地まとめても売り物にならねえ。
そんなからくりがあったのか。ところでその一坪まだ誰も手に入れてないんですか？
所有者が行方不明らしい。もし今出てくりゃ10億って値になってんだがな。
10億？
たった一坪の土地が？
なあ、殻の一坪が欠けりゃ再開発自体がひっくり返る。だが堂島組は周り一帯の地上げにもう100億以上突っ込んでんだ。一坪10億だろうが今さら引けやしねえ。
クゼはその土地を手に入れるのに必要なある情報を風間のおやっさんが握っていると言っていました。
風間のおやっさんの持ってる情報って何です？
いや、わからねえ。俺も初耳だ。
でもやっぱり姿消している土地の所有者に関係することでしょうね。何にしてもクゼはその情報をおやっさんから探らせるために桐生をはめたってわけか。
ああ、そのために人一人殺してまでな。
おめえら今の状況わかるか？桐生は当然として追い詰められてんのは風間の親父も同じだ。桐生が仇殺したってことで後見人の親父もけじめを迫られる。その上クゼが殻の一坪手にして若頭になってみろ。奴は親父を必ず組から追い出す。
組から追い出す？
まさか堂島組の波紋もあり得ると？
ああ、親父も無所にいる以上今は何も手が打てねえ。
あのおやっさんが波紋？
破門された極道の末路は言わなくてもわかる。一度上までのし上がった後で底辺の屈辱に耐えられる人間は少ねえ。自殺したホームレスに元極道って肩書きがついてるのは珍しい話じゃない。
でも桐生は実際殺しはやってないんです。こいつの疑いさえ晴らしゃおやさんも波紋にはならねえはずでしょう。
疑いを晴らすには真犯人を抑える必要がある。
そうだ。だがクゼが真犯人を握ってる以上手は出せない。
So yeah, it's most likely that Kuze was the one who set Kiryu up currently.
この世界で上に噛みつくことは何があっても許されねえ。
でもこのままじゃ桐生は無所にぶち込まれるんですよ。
俺らがクゼに手を出せば風間の親父は余計立場が悪くなる。その時点で波紋は確実になる。
だったらどうすりゃいいんですか俺たちは。
柏木さん、とりあえず俺の濡れ衣も殻の一坪も後回しだ。今とにかく俺はおやっさんを守るために動きます。
何かいい手があるのか？
ええ、俺の不始末は俺一人でけじめつけます。おやっさんに責任がいかないようにするにはもうこの手しか残ってね。
So yeah, it sounds like Kiryu has a plan.
一人でけじめつけるって何する気だ桐生。
俺は今日限り堂島組を抜ける。杯返して極道から足を洗う。
桐生、お前
今回の一件とにかく俺一人の責任としてケリをつけるんだ。
So keep in mind, Kiryu is like 20. He's not the... Kiryu's never been the brightest, but like he's always had his wisdom to him. He does not have any wisdom to him at the moment.
5体満足で足洗えるわけねえだろ。最悪殺されんぞ。認めたかねえけど今の堂島組仕切ってんのはクゼだ。それを袖にしたお前が組み抜けるっつってあいつが生かしとくと思うか？
杯返す先はクゼじゃねえ、堂島組長だ。それにまだ殺されると決まったわけじゃねえ。車回してくれ錦。これから組の事務所に行く。
ふざけんなって。お前やけになってるだけじゃねえか。
うるせえ他に手はねえんだ。このまま指くわえて見てるわけにはいかね
え。やめろ桐生。錦山の言ってることは正しい。
正しいかどうかなんてどうでもいい。所詮俺は風間のおやっさんについていくために極道になっただけの半端もんです。俺の不始末でおやっさんに迷惑かけるくらいなら俺にも覚悟があります。
おめえなめたこと言ってんじゃねえぞ。あ？俺の言うことが聞けねえのか？ああ、桐生。
ええ。
Kiryu's like, yes, I do disobey.
俺は行きます。
That punch had force. My jaw hurts from it too.
お世話になりました。
Again, this was before I was, actually. This was before I was editing and waiting 10 seconds. So now, we are in the final portion of Chapter 1. So, we got our stuff here. We're gonna get a few things. Get a heat action. We're gonna get 2 heat actions, actually, because Essence of Throwing is very difficult to get until much, much later in the game. And this one, there's only a select few situations where it's actually possible to get this one. You can get it, it's just very, very, like, later on, but it's very difficult. You need to have the, like, certain situations happening. But yeah, this will be the final video we kind of go over. And afterwards, I'll end stream, and we'll talk about what the plans for the future for this, like, kind of thing to be happening. We're gonna figure that out. Anyway, let's keep going. I realized I got my mouse recorded. Oh well. That's fine. Make sure that this is on 1080. So first thing you do, talk to Nishikiyama. Make sure you're stocked up on medicine, because this is basically what I would call a full-on dungeon. Like dungeon fighting. You're not going to have an opportunity to save until the end of the chapter after this. So do take advantage of, like, saving. It is important. So at this point, Nishikiyama and Kitty are gonna kind of reminisce. Yeah. I can't imagine dreaming I'm gonna join an a criminal underground organization, but I just think I can't think like Kiryu does.
俺よ、いつだったかおやっさんに殴られていた時のことを思い出してた。俺たちがこの道に入る前の晩だったよな、確か。てっきりお前も同じことを思い出してるもんだと思ってたよ。
やっぱりおめえにはかなわねえな、兄弟。
was my stomach. In my stomach. Here we are, at Ojima residence.
見慣れたはずの事務所が今日はやけに不気味に見えるな。
お疲れ様っす。
親父は堂島組長は事務所にいるか？
ええ、いらしてます。
ここで降りんのは俺一人だ。
え？
組長に伝えてくれ。桐生一馬が杯を返しに来たってな。
桐生さん、本気っすか？
ああ。すまなかったな、錦。お前はもう行ってくれ。
Sorry, I'm just checking the time on
本当
it.
にやるんだな、桐生。
組長に話をつける。死ぬと決まったわけじゃねえ。せいぜい器用にやってみるさ。
お前にそんな真似ができるのかよ、バカ野郎が。
またな、兄弟。
組を抜けてってことでいいんだな、
はい。組長に破門のお願いに上がりました。お取り次ぎ願います、クゼの兄貴。
ああ、残念だったな。土曜の8時はダメだ。親父のお気に入りのテレビの時間なんでな。話だったら代わりに俺が聞いてやる。てめえ、縁故も詰めてねえじゃねえか。手ぶらで組抜けの挨拶とはな。てめえ極道舐めてんのか？ああ、
あんたと話に来たわけじゃねえ。組長はどこにいるんだ？
今現場で組み仕切ってんのはこの俺だ。口の利き方には気をつけろよ。縁故は詰めねえわ。金も持ってこねえ。挨拶だけで組抜けさせてくださいってか？おれ！学生気分で敷居またげるほど極道の世界甘くねえぞ、こら。
Still asking Kitty to spy for him.
今なら全部水流してやる。風間の頭から彼の一粒の情報を聞き出せ。もうそれしかお前に生きる道はねえんだからよ。
組長に会わせてもらえませんか？ほら、破門してもらいに来たんす。
答えはノーってことか。そうかい。じゃあもういいわ。てめえは使い物にならねえってことだな。 前には俺のそばについてのし上がるチャンスがあった。そいつを蹴らなきゃ死なずに済んだのによ。あ、米だ。はい。消し方考えろ。
地味ですけど山の中で生き埋めが一番かと。薬品でドロドロにして流すってのもありですが。
ああ、死体は残せよ。後々こいつの死体が見つかった方がいいんだよ。堂島組は身内のしつけには厳しいって方が本家での評判も上がると思うよ。うん。
あんた、
ああ、
組を勝手に殺すのか。組長に無断で。
寝ぼけてんのか。もう親父なんて関係ねえよ。てめえは組抜けたんだろうが。
確かにそうだ。
Kitty, you just pulled a big brain moment.
その言葉待ってたぜ。
何？てめえ、兄貴分に向かって何しやがる。
兄貴分だと。俺はもうこの組の人間じゃねえ。あんたさっきそう言ったはずだ。
Civilian can't outrank any Yakuza.
かかってくんのはあんたらの勝手だが、こっちも遠慮なく手出させてもらう。
Very big brain Kitty moment.
兄貴。こいつは俺がやらしてもらいます。
任せる。好きにしろよ。
待て、あんたにはまだ話がある。
俺にはねえ。どうせお前はここで死ぬんだ。もし生きて俺んとこまで来られたら話ぐらい聞いてやる。
なら首洗って待ってろ。
覚悟はいいな。
いつでもいいぜ。
So basically, we got to make it from here to basically where Kuze is. And yeah, this is what I call like a dungeon style fighting. You have to go through several rooms of enemies. As I said earlier, I was avoiding using heat actions. I end up I only get 2 that are difficult to get later on. Whereas this one is so I'm just like focusing on just using a lot of fighting. I'm using Brawler right now, but as you can see, you are pretty defenseless when you're using Brawler, especially on Legends. You're taking a lot of damage. Like, a lot of damage. Which is why I said bring a lot of Stamina Royales, even on Legend, if you want to. Yuneda is gonna have more health than everybody else. He has also higher defense, I believe. Honestly, for a lot of this fight, I should have been using Rush to help me, but like, this is the first time I was making a walker. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But yeah. Just start punching your way through. And again, you're gonna get a lot of money from this. You're also gonna bump into a bunch of QTEs when the time comes. So just make sure you nail those QTEs. because Yonetta's gonna come out. He's gonna try to hit you with an ashtray, and as you can see, you get a decent amount of money for breaking it. I think you still have to fight. Like, you just take damage if you miss it, but you get extra heat, and you get more money from using the heat action. So at this point, I am going to end up using one of the heat actions that's harder to get. This is the essence of self-destruct. Only Kiryu can do it, and it happens when you see an enemy carrying a two-handed item over their head. It doesn't necessarily have to be a sofa seat. It can be something as small as a trash can or a crate. Oh yeah, here's another QTE. Doesn't matter if you hit it. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. If you hit it, you get more heat. If you don't, you take damage. But like either way, Yonetta won't continue fighting at that point until later. So keep in mind, just something to keep in mind. So yeah, I'm kind of just punching my way through this. So on Legend mode, another QT. On Legend mode, you do not, I don't think you can pick up health items from like dungeon areas like this. They absolutely take that out. Again, I honestly should have been using Rush, but like I'm doing a good job dealing a decent amount of damage. But like I will eventually switch to Rush because Yonetta later on will pull out a knife, and at that point you want Rush. So at this point I think I noticed that I had a lot of money on. Nope, I don't do it till later. I do have a lot more money on me, and so I will eventually start getting more skills during this. And this is where I'm gonna get the other heat action, which is the essence of throwing, which there has to be. I'm gonna back this up. So, essence of throwing is weird. There's only a couple places in the game. There's only one or like 3 places in the game, and none of them are in Kamurocho. They're in the hub. So but obviously there's a second hub later on that we'll see. But you need to have an area where there's just a drop off or water. And that's how you do the essence of throwing. So you grab a guy, so you have to grab him, and you drag them off, drag him here, and then hit the heat action button. So, if you watch, there you go. And it's an automatic defeat. Obviously, you can't do it on bosses, but I don't think there's any time bosses are ever in an area near there. But yeah, so that's like something I don't have to worry about later on. Some of these guys are a lot bigger now, so they do damage. They also guard better. But you're still pretty good at, like, dealing damage and taking him down. Excuse me. I didn't have time to reach for my mute button on my microphone for that. So at this point, I end up grabbing a few more abilities, so let's check them out. Power Surge 1. Yes, for Rush, definitely. Rush does not deal a lot of damage, but once you start Power Surging it, it does start doing a decent amount. Obviously, boost health is very important. Boost health will work for all styles. And then Rising Tornado. This one's good. It's a good recovery for Rush, and you do end up, like, you can possibly get a hit off with it. And then I go here, and it's like Power Surge 1 for Brawler. So Brawler is now slightly stronger. The damage output will be more. And obviously boost health, always a good thing to have. So yeah, more health, the better. So something I did not explain, that I will explain now, is so you see how these say locked? These will unlock when you start doing the business aspect of the game. But until then, you can only get up to the 4th layer of skills. So keep that in mind. And here's Yoneda with the knife. Hit that QTE, you will take a lot of damage if you miss that. And at this point, switch to Rush. It's too dangerous to go Brawler with this. And if you're doing what I'm doing, which is not using heat actions this early, dodge and then punch, dodge and then punch. Like, try to get that that last hit to land. Because, yeah, Yoneda, he can deal a lot of damage with that. Sorry, I just lifted up, so I got a little louder. But yeah, you're gonna want to deal a lot more damage, or you want to deal quick damage, not a lot more. You want to deal quick damage in order to take Yoneda out. Yoneda. And always make sure you're trying to land that finisher, because it will knock him down. It is hard to get a heat action off on him, especially even after you knock him down, because he usually just automatically gets up. But yeah, you'll quickly do damage, and then, like, this is just funny. Like, Kiryu just shoves his face into a urinal. That's, like, there were guys using the bathroom right before this, so... Oh, this poor man. I mean, not poor enough for me to feel empathetic to him, but poor enough that, like, I couldn't imagine wanting, like, that happening to me. But yeah, Yoneda was kind of like the kind of mini boss of this, because now we've made it to the top. It's time to take on basically the boss of this chapter. Not every chapter has a boss, but this is like one of the harder, like the first real challenge of the game. And of course, as you would suspect, it is going to be Yakuza!
派手な短歌切るだけあってなかなかやるなおめえさんも風間の頭もいいガキをスカウトしたもんだ俺がまだボクシングやってた頃におめえと会ってたらプロモーターになりたいぐらいだ
クゼ口が聞けなくなる前に吐け殻の一粒の真犯人は誰なんだどこに隠してる
ガキが調子に乗りやがって
Get a picture of Kuze's back. His tattoos. This is a very common Yakuza trope in the game. Shirtless battles.
お前はもうこの手で直接やらねえと気が済まねえ
いつまで能書きたるてんださっさとかかってこいああかかってこねえならこっちから行くぜ
So, I am, again, in this specific fight, not using heat actions. Kuze is tough. Not so tough that you won't be able to come up with a way of fighting him. The trick is, you do not want to be using your lock-on, which is holding R1, or right bumper. You want to kind of dodge out of the way of his punches, and then either get behind him or in front of him and try to land like 2 or 3 hits, and then a finisher. Because sometimes you can knock him down. And if you want to do some heat actions, you can maybe land a heat action or 2 from the ground. So, yeah. Wait, Kuze is got 2 phases. So this is his first phase, where he's kind of just... He's fast. He's really fast. He's good at countering. However, he does tend to recoil. He doesn't do super large amounts of damage at the moment. But, like, you can definitely tell this is your real challenge. Now, if you press L1, which is your guard button, while in rush, you'll end up doing kind of this weaving motion, and you are completely... While that... For a few seconds, you have iframes. You can completely just negate taking damage. With, I think, melee and physical attacks, but I think, like, weapons you can still get hit. Like, firearms you can still get hit. Still very useful. You'll know you're in your second phase when a QTE section starts, but it's so fast that sometimes I usually miss, like, the first hit. It's okay if you miss it. I didn't miss it in this one, but you deal a lot of damage if you hit that, even on Legend. Now he's in his second phase. This is when what I say his heat. This is when his heat pops. He's a lot more defensive and offensive, and he will like turn. He'll use more hits and he'll turn more often, so that you may or may not end up actually hitting him with that with your rush combo. He will knock your ass down several times, which is why I say please bring a ton of medicine. I don't know why I switched to Brawler. Like, Brawler is an awful idea for this fight. I did manage to get a throw though, so. And then I used a heat action that I already used, so. I just didn't want to show off any new heat actions. But you can, like, knock him down and get a heat action off if you're quick enough. Just be careful. And just know, the less heat you have, you're not, like, the slower you are. So, like, as you notice, Kiryu is not, like, as fast as before with his rush combos. You can still hit that finisher, and you will eventually start dealing, like, it looks like you're doing chip damage. You're doing more damage than you think you are. So yeah, just keep at it, and you'll get it. Kuze is not a joke in this fight, but he's not, like, he's definitely, like, one of the easiest, like, boss fights. Which kind of cements, like, how much tougher the other boss fights are going to get later on. But you also have to keep in mind, Kuze would probably be more of a joke if, I say had all my skills, had Kiryu's skills, all of Kiryu's skills unlocked, which is absolutely, like, it would be an absolute joke at that point. But this early on Legend with only a couple skills unlocked, yeah, he's a bit of a challenge. And he's, as you can tell, he's a lot faster. He hits harder. But yeah, if you get a circle around, if you get them if you get any boss in the back, and they stay, like, if they face away from you still, they will still, they can't defend at all. They're completely defenseless. And yeah, use your quick steps. Quick steps are important in this fight. It'll save you from, like, being in a situation you don't want to be in, even if you lose heat from it. Yeah, he's really good at dodging too. This was fun. What a and yeah, that's the kind of recovery attack from earlier. It was such a beautiful final hit. But yeah, and that's the fight with Kuze.
しろ。
Here is the big man himself, Dojima.
親父。
堂島組長。
So hey, Dojima.
怠慢張ってたんじゃねえのか、クズ。堂島の若頭補佐ともあろうもんが、みっともねえ恥さらしやがる。風間の器にはほど遠いな。
Oh, that had to sting.
でも親父、その頭が拾ってきた鍵がこいつです。桐生一馬です。お前、取り立てで相手ぶっ殺しちまったそうだな。バカな真似しやがって。
そのことで組長にお願いに上がりました。俺は誓って殺しはやってません。ですが疑いがかかってる以上組に迷惑をかけられません。だから俺を破門にしてください。
虫がいいこと言ってんじゃねえぞバカ野郎。親父、こいつは俺がきっちりけじめつけます。これ以上親父に迷惑かけませんから。お前、仇に手かけんのか。
Yeah, they heard
お
it.
前の裁量で組抜けさせたんじゃなかったのか。
そんなこと、いや、俺はしてません。
Yeah, they absolutely heard it.
よくねえな。兄弟。あわの。
俺もはっきり聞きました。桐生はもう組を抜けた人間だ。それを殺すのに親父の許しはいらない。そう言ってましたよね、クゼの兄貴。
てめえら。
クゼ。これ以上無様さらす気か。
The how the turns have tabled here.
さあ、兄弟。
The punishment he wanted Kiryu to take,
クゼ
and
犬
now
の
he's
上
being
の
presented
人間なら作法
the
は知っ
same
ていますよ
punishment.
ね。
兄貴の好きなけじめです。男、見せてください。よく見とけや。
This is a very, very, very tough scene, so turn away if you have to. My left pinky hurts now. Ow. Yeah, Yakuza embarrassed himself in front of everybody, unfortunately.
うちの
For
若
him.
頭補佐が一度口にしたことだ。桐生一馬、今日限り堂島組を破門とする。
堂島組長。
さいます。
桐生、ここまで苦労して組を抜けたかった理由は何なんだ？
俺と風間のおやっさんの身の潔白を明らかにするためです。今回の一件、俺は殺しをやってません。風間のおやっさんも全く関わりありません。ですが一坪で俺が金を取り立てた男が死に、組に迷惑かけちまったのは事実です。俺は組抜けて責任取らせてもらいます。ですからどうか風間の親父のことだけは。
さあ、飯でも食うか？
堂島組長、
お前が組抜けて取れる責任ってのは何だ？
それは絶対に俺が一粒で男を殺した犯人を捕まえます。それで俺と風間のおやっさんの身の潔白を。
そうか、その必要はない。
でも犯人は。
犯人？そんなのはさすが勝手に探す。お前はもう仇だ。
それじゃけじめがつきません。
けじめ？だからてめえは仇だろうが。今さらわちゃわちゃやらせんだ。
kind of backfired on Kiryu.
自分の不手際があると認めるところはあるんだろう。
はい。少なくとも
Really backfired on
自
Kiryu.
分が場所で追い込みかけなければ、ひょっとしたらこんなことには。
だから波紋を申し出た。
そうです。
安心しろ。けじめならきっちり取ってもらうさ。
え？
風間が拾ってきたガキ、桐生、お前の不手際であの土地に手が出しづらくなっちまった。その責任は風間に取ってもらう。
Yeah, so Kiryu, who was trying to avoid letting Kazama take the blame, ended up causing it for Kazama to take blame instead. Anyway, so
お前は仇として幸せになる道でも探すんだな。
So that's
どうすればいいんだ。
that's unfortunate.
じゃあ俺はどうすればいいんだ。
So yeah, Kiryu just made things worse. So now he's kinda stuck in. Now he's just outside in the middle of Kamurocho, not sure what to do. When a mysterious man appears.
立てますか？このままだと風邪をひいてしまいますよ。私は立花と申します。
The mysterious Tachibana.
立花。
あなたが今置かれている状況は全て承知しています。私はあなたと会うこの時をずっと前から待っていたんです。少しだけ話聞いていただけませんか？桐生一馬さん。
And yeah, that's all of chapter 1. You get a decent amount of money from it, plus it goes through what money you've earned. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this. So hope you guys enjoyed this. I know this is different than what I usually do, and I'm honestly thinking of making this kind of a members only thing. Kind of so that you kind of already have this, like, seeing this walkthrough already, because it's uploaded onto the YouTube channel, obviously. But kind of giving you kind of background and kind of my thoughts on the game as well. So yeah, tell me what you think in the comment section once the video is over. And I will plan more of this out once I start setting up for the membership stuff. All right, guys, I'm going to take off because I've been doing this for 2.5 hours, and I am tired. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you all later. After this, in probably a couple hours, I'm going to start editing the next Kingdom Hearts video. So look forward to that. And yeah, thank you guys so much. You have a great day.